Hello, and welcome to Caretaker's Corner, where we discuss everything that has to do with taking care of your elderly and disabled parents, your disabled spouses, and adult disabled children. My name is CJ, and I have told you all in the past that if I discover new information on a previous subject, that I'd let you know. And as we all know, my dad passed away a couple months ago now. And I have discovered in recent weeks that there are some important dates you're supposed to know. And stuff I never gave it a thought. Okay, my parents got divorced in '99, and for some of the paperwork, you have to list all spouses, previous spouses, and dates of divorce or death. So this is something you all might want to keep in mind. If your parent has had several spouses and maybe they passed away, then you'll need to know the person's full name, and then you'll need to know their date of birth and their date of death. Or if they got divorced, you'll need to know the person's name, their date of birth, and the date of the divorce. So just a new thing for you that I have spent, we spent about a week or so looking for that information, because it turns out I didn't know any of it. And I mean, like I said, for my parents, I mean, they got divorced, '99. That was a long time ago. But that's an important thing to know. So onward and upward. Next week, I am going to be doing, instead of like a long form video, next Sunday, we'll start Saturday. We're preparing for Barbara to have surgery on Monday. So what I'm going to do, instead of a long form video, is I'm going to do like short videos throughout the us getting everything prepared, and then throughout the day of the surgery, and Tuesday and Wednesday during recovery. She's having surgery on her neck, the spinal cord, or the spine, not the spinal cord, but the spine itself, in her neck. And so it's a pretty serious surgery, but it seems like it may help relieve a lot of her pain and suffering, and might allow her to be a little bit more ambulatory, and maybe give her a little bit better quality of life. So that's what we're hoping for. So what I'm going to do is a series of short videos throughout Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, instead of just the long form video that I do on Sunday. So that's something that I'm going to try out. We'll see how well that works. I did do a short video once, so like I said, I'm still learning a lot of this, and of course I work full-time. I work 11 hours Monday through Friday, and then sometimes Saturday and Sunday, and then of course I take care of Barbara, and so I'm trying to learn in between doing all of that. So that's why sometimes my videos are dead on and they look nice, I think, and sometimes not so much. I did discover nobody really liked the when I used the program to create the whole thing. I did the script and all that, but I had the program do it, the pictures and all that. I noticed not too many people were fond of that, so I may use it for helping me a little bit, but I won't use that as the actual program. So what I'm going to start is I'll start a new playlist, and this is probably one of those where I'll come back to it. I'm looking at doing some videos on questions to ask when you're starting to look at nursing homes. What's the difference between assisted living, home health, and nursing facility, retirement community, and then what questions should you ask when you start looking at these places for your parents or your disabled spouse. I know it's not one people like to think of, but sometimes even a disabled spouse requires a lot more care than we're able to give. And so I'm going to do a series on that, on questions and you should ask, research you should do, and etc. on that. But right now I'm going to do some videos on unexpected lessons I've learned from caretaking. So I was a caretaker for my dad, and I was a caretaker for my my in-laws, who were elderly and disabled. I check in on my mom and stepdad every Friday, and more often if they need it. And there's a lot of stuff that, by observing them and helping them, that I have learned. And I want to pass this on because I think they're very important subjects for us to think about for our retirement. If you're Gen X, retirement's around the corner. I mean, some of you are really close. I'm not that far away from it. And Barbara's the last of the Gen X. So if she wasn't disabled, she would still have 20 years to think about this. So the youngest of the Gen X have 20 years to think about this. The rest of us have a lot less. And if you're a millennial, Gen Z, these are also things you need to take into account, because you're at a point where you can start making a difference in your retirement and in your, well, retirement years. So the next few videos will go over planning for your own retirement. Well, none of this is financial advice, nor is it medical advice, so please take that into account. But I've learned a lot about how little my parents and my in-laws, and actually a lot of people I know, have taken into account their own retirement. I mean, just the financial aspect. How are you going to pay for your bills? How are you going to pay for your food? How are you going to pay for your medical? A big thing for everybody to know is Medicare does not pay for everything. And if you try to get Medicaid, there are a lot of rules that go with getting Medicaid. And you can, if you have an estate, like you own a home, and you want that home to go to your children, then if you go on Medicaid, there are a lot of rules around that, because the government plans on getting their money back in the end. I am not an expert in any way, shape, fashion, or form when it comes to Medicare and Medicaid. I do know that there are a lot of rules you've got to check into, and it can be very confusing. And I suggest you contact your Social Security office and make an appointment to go and sit down and talk with them with a whole list of questions. You have the Social Security website that you can find some questions on. But I find sometimes the Social Security website is actually more confusing than trying to talk to somebody. So with the planning for the retirement, you have your finances. You can't really, Social Security will probably be around when I go to retire. But Social Security is not a lot of money. I've paid a lot into it, but the government has decided you only get so much a month. The longer you work, the later you wait to collect your Social Security, the more that monthly amount will be. But it's not a lot. And if you're used to living on, say, $1,000 a week take home, and that is your lifestyle, then you need to figure out, well, how much Social Security will I have? 401k payments. If you have IRA payments, I have dividend income. So do you have dividend income? How often does a dividend income pay off? And how, is it quarterly? I've got some that are quarterly. I've got some that are monthly. Will that make up your income? And do you have in real estate income, or how many different sources of income do you have? And will it make up that $4,000 that you're used to living on? The other thing you might want to think about is, what is the absolute least amount that you can live on? Now you got to remember, for this you've got to take into account food, insurance, because even if you don't have a house payment, you still have insurance and property taxes. You have internet, water, electric, cable, or whatever services you have like that. And then, like I said, you've got all of the expense. Your medical expenses usually exponentially go up the older you get. And then, like I said, you pay for Medicare and the Medicare Advantage plans and all of that. And then you have your share of the medicine that you have to take. And then if you are to the point where you can't take care of your property, are you going to pay somebody? Are you going to do it yourself? And I mean, this is just one aspect of some of the lessons I've learned through this. When you stop to look at everything that just goes into the finance part, I know with my dad, some of this stuff we just found out because of necessity. And God willing, you guys will never have to be in a necessity situation, but obviously if you're watching this video, you kind of are. So when you're planning, when you stop to think about it and you start planning for your own situation, because let's face it, if we're lucky, we're all going to get older. And we're all going to be in a situation where hopefully we get to retire and enjoy retirement years. And we need to have this plan to go. Because I will tell you, my parents, no plan. My in-laws, no plan. So literally their plan was to hope for the best, that there would be somebody there to take care of them in all aspects of their life. All they had, I believe both of my parents have, is Social Security. All my in-laws had was disability. And just so you know, disability is even less than Social Security. And people don't realize how much they need to think about retirement. I mean, we all go, okay, I'm going to retire someday, and hey, heck yeah, I'll be there. But have you ever noticed that a lot of people, when they retire, they tend to pass away shortly afterwards? If you think about it, since we were 5, some places 4, we've been getting up and going out every day somewhere for 8 hours or more, and then coming home. And when you retire, you're 65 or older, and you've been doing that for 60 years. What are you going to do with all that extra time? And like in my dad's case, all he did was sit around and watch TV. And, in my mom's case, that's in stepdad's case, I don't know their daily schedule, but every time I'm there, that's what they're doing. And I know for my in-laws, that's what they did. And I think that, especially in my dad and my in-laws' case, that kind of contributed to the early mortality rate, I think. By having something to fill that time and give you purpose, then you have something to look forward to every day. And that gives you a reason to keep going. And so I think that is an important part of planning for your retirement. What are you going to do with your time? Are you going to travel? Are you going to have a hobby? And back to finances, if you do, how are you going to pay for it? Are you going to do something to make money during retirement? Like your hobby making money whatnot, are you going to volunteer your time? There are all sorts of stuff that you can do during retirement to fill up that time, but you've got to have this planned out. I mean, you can't just hope to retire and figure it all out later. If there's one thing I have learned in the last 20 years or so, it's that you cannot just hope for the best. I hope that we're able to work through these plans together, as well as continuing to learn how to take care of our current responsibilities as caretakers. But remember, one of those responsibilities is taking care of ourselves also. And that's what this next series is about for our own retirement. So I hope I managed to hit on some good subjects and make some sense. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And leave comments if there's anything else you'd like to see or like for me to talk about. Thank you and have a wonderful day.